Welcome to Good Morning Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
Morning Keys, Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5. The talk of the Keys. We are at about 76 degrees on our way to 83 for today. Starting to upward and a slight chance of showers. We did have significant rainfall last night, but looking at pretty clear skies right now, about a 20% chance of a shower here and there as we move into Thursday, the latter part of the week. We're going to say good morning to Dennis Ward, Monroe County State's attorney, is with us this morning. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm good, Michael. How about you?
I'm doing well, and let me just lead off by thanking you once again. I always try to do that for your service to our county as our state's attorney, but also to our country as a proud Marine, and we all stand behind our armed services and our service personnel as they go after the foe in Iran. It's quite a time here lately, but we certainly wish them thoughts and prayers and our full support.
Well, it's just a matter of timing, and I think, and me as a veteran and me as a former law enforcement officer and the chief law enforcement officer of the Monroe County, as the state attorney, I appreciate your comments, and so do my colleagues. And yeah, it's unfortunate that this whole situation with Iran had to take place, but you know, it's better now than down the road. And you know, this administration has taken a firm stance against terrorism and the hundreds of Americans that have been killed by this regime in Iran has been troubling. And you know, I go back to the Marines that were killed in Beirut back, I think it was 82 or something like that. And, you know, being a Marine, we are all brothers and sisters. The Marine Corps instills that in us, and we are always Marines, and we always look out for one another. And I thank the president and his staff for doing what they're doing, and it will make the world a safer place. And these clowns out there protesting, I mean, they're the same people that protest the deportations of these illegals that have entered our country. They compare illegals entering the country to the history of the United States built on immigrants. And you see them out there all the time, and they're nothing but Trump haters. Anything that he comes up with, which has been done by Democrats that were in office, they criticize him for, and they attack him for. I guess they forget Nancy Pelosi backing Barack Obama's bombings. So this is the rhetoric that you get every day, you know. But enough of that. We need to talk about Monroe County and how we try and make Monroe County the safest county in the state of Florida.
Yes, we do that. And again, I congratulated you and your office on each of the 3 homicide convictions as of late over the past just few weeks. A lot of hard work on behalf of your prosecutors and yourself, seeing those cases to fruition, seeing, justice being done, and 3 very high-profile cases that I assume you were satisfied with the result.
Yes, and then we have sentencing coming up on the 3rd one. This guy who brutally beat his longtime girlfriend, who went to prison a number of times. He'll be getting, I believe, hopefully a life sentence. Just the pictures alone of that brutal homicide were shocking. You know, I got to give a shout out to my prosecutors and my legal assistants and my investigators. They've done a very good job with all that we've been doing with the corruption in Key West and the corruption in Monroe County, and to turn around and pivot and have the success they've had in these 3 homicide cases. And a couple where people told us to plea them down and what have you, and we said no, we're not pleading anything down. We're going forward, especially with the traffic homicide one. And then we got a conviction there, you know, and then next was the young man, Garrett Hughes, who was gunned down by this I guess, spoiled brat his whole life for no apparent reason except jealousy and drunkenness.
Mm-hmm.
And then the brutal, savage beating. And I got a shout out to the Key West Police Department and their staff, and the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and their staff, and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. One of the cases involved DNA, and to have the expert scientists that FDLE sent to explain DNA and DNA evidence to the jurors, we need to thank them, and Dr. Our medical examiner Michael Steckbauer,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
who is, I think, like a colonel in the Army Reserve.
Mm-hmm.
His expert testimony in all these cases, and a couple of cases hinged on his testimony, and that guy just knocks it out of the ballpark every time he comes into court to testify.
Well, you put together a very strong prosecution in each of those cases. And again, the results speak for themselves with 3 homicide convictions. So congratulations and thank you for that. State Attorney Dennis Ward with us, Monroe County State's Attorney on Good Morning Keys. And luckily, we can still say that we have our own jurisdiction here in the 16th Judicial Circuit of Florida.
Yes.
That was another crisis averted. And thanks to your quick action and hard work on the grassroots level, we still have the 16th Circuit. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I got to thank you guys in the media, you guys and the Miami Herald, and the woman from Channel 10, Glenna Steinberg, whatever, this week in South Florida. Mm-hmm. She had me on there to speak about it. And, now we're looking at the Attorney General wants to do away with possession of firearms by convicted felons. And I'm going like, oh, is this guy out of his mind? I thought he was a law enforcement guy. Mm-hmm. Gun rights are gun rights, but, I think that even lawful gun owners would be concerned with convicted felons being able to possess firearms. Mm-hmm. I mean, the free state of Florida can only be so free. I mean, I would hate to see the advertising coming out saying the free state of Florida welcomes convicted felons where you can carry a firearm. So that's concerning. That's on our radar. And myself and the other 19 state attorneys in the state of Florida are concerned about that. It's a great tool to keep guns out of the hands of people that have been convicted of felons. And then there's been a watered down version of this, and talking about, well, maybe for nonviolent crimes. So what does that mean? Does that mean prostitution, which they call human trafficking now? Does that mean drug sales? Does that mean money laundering? Does that mean fraud? I mean, what are we talking about here?
State's Attorney Dennis Ward with us on Good Morning Keys. And speaking of the human trafficking, just to the north of us, a federal jury convicting a 32-year-old defendant for his role in the violent human smuggling scheme that brought Cuban nationals from Cuba to Key Largo. So it did affect us here, apparently extorting a large amount of dollars from the family members of those who were being smuggled. And it looks like 6 defendants now in that fairly high-profile case. And I know that you're not directly involved with the prosecution, but it did involve Monroe County.
Yes, it did. And once again, Sheriff Ramsey and his people and Customs and Border Patrol and Immigration were right on that and did a great job getting involved in that case and investigating that case. And I want to thank the United States Attorney for the Southern District of Florida for the great job that him and his prosecutors did in convicting these people.
Yeah, that was a concerning case. Most definitely. Homeland Security, by the way, may be refunded once again now that Congress is coming around to seeing the need for security here, especially with, again, we talked about Iran and some of the threats that may occur here, even locally, regionally, nationally, et cetera. So let's hope that Homeland Security gets their funding restored as well. But that's concerning. Also, fentanyl, by the way, we haven't talked about it in a while, and there's probably good reason because
that's why. Yes,
exactly. Strong prosecutions and strong convictions against those who do deal in fentanyl that results in a homicide. You and Sheriff Ramsey and other law enforcement officers came together to make sure that we had, a strong deterrent against that. And lo and behold, we're not hearing much about fentanyl cases and crimes against our citizenry as a result.
Yeah, and knock on wood with that. And this was a partnership that I developed with our sheriff, Nick Ramsey, and Chief Vandenberg, and
Mm-hmm.
other law enforcement agencies that we partner with down here
Mm-hmm.
to send a message to these people trafficking in fentanyl and causing death in our county, that they will be held accountable, and they have been so far. We still have 2 or 3 of the homicide indictments pending. Presently, we're getting to the bigger cases than that, the homicides that we spoke about earlier, and we will get to those people. But I think that the legislature realized the problem, and Congress, except for the Democrats, realized the problem, and they took action. And the federal government, the Department of Justice, and our United States military have blown up a few of these boats that are trafficking and bringing fentanyl into our country, killing hundreds of thousands of Americans. So, I thank all those people, too.
Yeah, there's a lot going on that front, whether it's the Venezuelan operation or, again, we recently saw the operation that CIA had a hand in Mexico, going after cartel bosses, et cetera. So there is a lot going on as far as some deterrence and maybe holding people accountable.
And maybe we could even see some things change in Cuba here when we get done with Iran.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's movement afoot to make that happen as well. Interestingly enough, Florida Keys also tied to that recent attempted landing with armed expatriates or whoever they were, who are, I guess the Cuban prosecutor is now saying he's going to seek 30 years in prison for each of those who survived that boat originally coming out of a Big Pine Key and then being stolen and taken to Cuba. So a lot of different parallels and paths here to international issues that come back to here, us in Monroe County. And again, it speaks to us being thankful for our state's attorney's office being very diligent about having a strong deterrent and keeping people accountable for any infractions against our citizens here. So we did have the opportunity to have Byron Donalds in our community as well. The Common Sense Conservatives had brought him to Marathon over the weekend. He apparently is leading the polls if there were a primary today as the pick for the Republicans and the pick in a general election for our next governor.
Yeah, what a great event that was. And I want to thank my fellow members of the Keys Common Sense Conservatives for putting this together. It was led by a number of our elected officials here, and specifically our mayor, Michelle Lincoln, and our county commissioner, Holly Rashine, our clerk, Kevin Maddock, myself, John Dick, just a whole group of us here that put this thing together, and Don Horton, the mayor of Isla Mirada.
Jill Pretty Black in there, I think.
Yeah, Jill, she's the president of our organization. Yeah. And you can help me out with the names.
I'm looking up the rest, but you already ticked off the ones that I'm aware of that come to mind. But yes, indeed.
And what a great turnout by elected officials from Key West. Didi Enriquez was there. The city manager from Key West was there. Lisette Carey was there. Erica Sterling was there from Key West, a few more. And then Marathon had a couple of their city commissioners there, Isla Mirada, Don Horton, and I think Annie, I can't remember her last name, was there. Just up and down the county. It was just such a great turnout.
A lot of big names. You've got Larry Zetwalk involved in the group, among others. You named all the notables as well. So Byron Donalds had some good comments, though, that afternoon. I regret I was not able to be there, but a good opportunity to see what he stands for.
Yeah, I know. And I talked to you before the event, and I was hoping that you could have been there.
Yes, sir.
I know that you had prior commitments. Contracts are contracts. And you got to keep the lights on, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, unfortunately.
And Byron Donalds, he's just an amazing guy. He took the time to meet with anyone that wanted to meet with him. He talked to the attendees there at the event. He took pictures with just about everybody, and you just don't see politicians like that, interact with the people. And we were told that he really didn't want to speak that much. He wanted to interact with the attendees, and he did. And then he left from there and went down and saw Richie Moretti and his staff and released a turtle with sombrero.
That's terrific. Well, I've heard he's quite personable. Donald Trump is fond of him. He has his endorsement. He was even considered as a running mate for Donald Trump, but he's a rising star, and he is in the lead as the pick for the next governor of the state of Florida, at least at this point. So Common Sense Conservatives, Keys Common Sense Conservatives, bringing him in on Sunday. We thank all of you for making that possible. We are getting into election season. We also have an election coming up that is quite consequential for our county court judge. Now, Mark Wilson, I know he's been proven on the bench, and you have spoken to his accolades and spoken to his attributes, we'll put it that way. But he will be challenged in that race, and we'll be watching that.
Well, Mark hasn't been challenged yet, but
I'm sorry.
His seat is up for a shot. His county court seat. There's 2 people running for that position.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And Dave Van Loon, a great community guy who does a lot of work with the athletics and stuff at Key West High School and coaches baseball. He put his name in the hat. He's running against a very liberal public defender. Dave is a conservative guy, and I think Dave would be a great choice to continue my goal of making the safest county in the state of Florida. What we don't need are progressives on the bench, and Dave's opponent is a big progressive.
Okay. Yeah, so Circuit Court is Mark Wilson has announced his candidacy for the 16th Circuit. My apologies, and thank you for the clarification there. So we'll be watching his vacant seat.
I think I may have confused you pre-show there, so
nope.
I apologize.
Nope, I need to get it straight, and I appreciate the clarification. There's a lot of moving parts there, though, and again, we are going to watch that very closely as well. So there's all kinds of other issues going on. We have continued, convictions happening all the time. We appreciate the diligence of your office, as mentioned. Anything else, though, that we missed highlighting at this time that we should have mentioned?
I don't think so, but there usually is after I get off the phone with you. I think of something.
Same here. Well, there's a lot that we're dealing with, but feel free to reach out, and we will highlight anything that you feel is important for our population and our listeners to know about. We appreciate, again, a lot of appreciation here, but thank you so much for keeping us informed and engaged and protected as well. So with that, I know you got to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yep. And thank you, Michael, for getting our message out and for working so hard and diligently to make Monroe County the best county in the state of Florida.
Well, I only follow the lead of leaders like you, and you serve as quite the role model and set the standards for us to live up to as far as leadership and commitment to our community. So thank you very much for all of that, Dennis. You have a very good day. Hope to see you soon.
Okay, buddy. Take care of yourself.
Yes, you do the same. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Dennis
Bye-bye.
Ward, he is with us. He is Monroe County State's attorney on Good Morning Keys. Thankfully, the 16th Judicial Circuit of Florida, continuing to protect our way of life here in the Florida Keys. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. We will return with more Good Morning Keys in just a moment. Just checking real quickly. Excuse me, no major incidents being reported up and down US 1 so far this morning. It looks like relatively incident-free. That is good. School zones are enforced. School buses are out and about, so please be careful and alert. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. Will return with more Good Morning Keys in a moment.
Coming March 14th and 15th, it's the 50th annual Original Marathon Seafood Festival. This authentic Keys event, brought to you by the Greater Marathon Chamber of Commerce and the Organized Fishermen of Florida, features fresh Florida Keys seafood, over 200 vendors, a boat show, and cold beverages such as craft beers, Bloody Marys, margaritas, and mimosas. Enjoy live entertainment featuring the Marshall Morlock Band, Amber Lee, the Red Elvises, and other great bands. Did we mention fresh Florida Keys seafood? Indulge in stone crab, lobster, ceviche, fish tacos, oysters, Key West pink shrimp, and more. We recommend you wash it all down with a cold beverage of your choice. Don't forget March 14th and 15th, the Original Marathon Seafood Festival at Marathon Community Park. More information available at marathonseafoodfestival.com. That's marathonseafoodfestival.com. Brought to you by Fission by Hotwire Communications and the Monroe County Tourist Development Council, as well as Eagle Brands, Middle Keys Magazine, Overseas Media Group, and Keys Talk 96.9 1025.
While money doesn't grow on trees, trees can save you money by shading your home from the Florida Keys hot sun. Keys Energy Services will host its 22nd tree giveaway on Saturday, April 18th. Keys customers can receive 2 free native shade trees starting at 8:30 in the morning at Keys Service Building on James Street in Key West or Keys Blimp Road site in Cudjoe Key. Remember, shade from trees can make your home more energy efficient and save you money on your monthly energy bill. Visit keysenergy.com for more information on this and other green programs. At Keys Energy, we're growing greener every day. Here's your chance to join us.
Keys Auto Center, the Keys hometown dealership.
Hey folks, Stephen Bender here at Keys Auto Center. It's Chevy and GMC Truck Month. We have the largest inventory of new Silverado and Sierra trucks we've ever had. More selection, more trims, more options than ever before. And every in-stock new Chevy and GMC truck is backed by our local deal match guarantee. So come see the people you know, like, and trust on the boulevard or at keysautocenter.com. We've got the keys.
This is Good Morning Keys on Keys Talk 96.9 1025.
Talk 96.9 1025. The Talk of the Keys. Good morning. We are at 75 degrees. We're on our way to 82 with a slight chance of a shower. We had those showers last night. 20% chance of that continuing today. Tonight, chance of showers at 30%. So we'll take some rain here and there. Tomorrow, a slight chance of thunderstorms. 20 will be the high on Friday. Saturday, 30% chance of a shower, 82. Sunday, chance of showers is 30%, 82 for the high there. We're going to say good morning to David Sloan. And David, well, where do we even start, David? For over 30 years, David Sloan IV has lived where Key West history and folklore collide. He's an author, researcher, and expert on the Florida Keys' darkest mysteries and sweetest traditions. Sweetest traditions make that. You've probably seen his books all around, including people picking up copies at the airport, which makes them stay here longer and sometimes indefinitely. Good morning to you, David.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so I'm referring to one of your works, which is very popular, Quit Your Job and Move to Key West. Did I say it right?
You did.
I wonder how many people that has inspired in the airport to cancel their return flight and just stay here.
And you know what? I don't know how many have actually canceled their flights, but I talk to probably 4 or 5 people every week who say, I bought your book and I did it. And
You're
it's
the guy.
And I got to tell you, it's so cool hearing that, because I mean, there's got to be over 1,000 people now who did it, who read the book and it was inspiration. And I can't take credit for them actually doing the move. You know, people have that in them, but to be able to give that nudge, it's pretty cool.
It really is. Again, David Sloan, author, historian, cold case investigator, which very appropriately, we were speaking with our state's attorney, Dennis Ward, here a little while ago, about all the cases that they work and have brought successful convictions. You work on cold cases. We were talking also about the ties between Cuba and some of the crimes that continue to happen here in the Keys that are tied to Cuba. So that brings us up to the present with you. I had to run and get my copy, which is signed. Thank you very much. How Key West Killed JFK, the island that changed the course of history. Admittedly, I think I'm on page 152 right now. I can't wait to get to the end of it, but let's talk about this. How Key West Killed JFK. So if you want to, without giving away the ending, maybe talk about the premise of the book.
I'll give away the ending. So spoiler alert, President Kennedy dies.
Oh, okay. Really? Oh, I
Uh,
wouldn't.
it's interesting, and it that was an incredible moment in American history, and I wasn't even alive for it.
Yeah.
And when people look at the book cover, I see a lot of people they'll laugh and they'll say, "Oh, is this a Carl Hiaasen book? Is this a joke?" And I don't blame them for that because people never really talked about all of the connections to the Florida Keys. And I stumbled upon it. I grew up in Dallas, 15 miles away from where the assassination took place. It was always on my radar, but it was never something where I'm like, oh, I'm a JFK researcher or any of that. I was looking for Key West's missing fire chief, who you're probably familiar with,
Yeah.
Umparto.
Yes,
Are we
yes,
allowed to
yes.
say that? Are we allowed to say his
We
name?
are one part. Yes, we are. Yeah, all kinds of works and stage plays and everything else based on Bombardo. But yeah, so it started with your quest to find what happened to him.
Yeah, me and a friend, we decided, hey, we're going to find him. And we spent several years doing a deep dive. We traveled out of the country. We had FBI reports. We were going through all the declassified CIA reports. And what I found is a lot of the people that we were looking at turned up in the JFK assassination files. And I saw a story about Jack Ruby selling guns out of an Islamorada motel room. And I thought, what?
No kidding. Uh-huh.
And it set me on this incredible path. And there's all these reports of Lee Harvey Oswald, in the Florida Keys, fueling up his boat in Marathon, um, in Stock Island, fueling up his boat at the Standard Oil docks.
Mm-hmm.
The mayor saw him.
Mm-hmm.
There's these credible reports, but what really blew me away was when George Feraldo, who was the director of the Key West Airport, he reported that he saw Lee Harvey Oswald and Jack Ruby together
Oh, yeah.
in the airport. And that really blew me away. And George passed away, but he's such a well-respected man in this town.
Mm-hmm.
And I called his wife and I said, Norma, do you know what they're saying about George in these CIA reports? And she said, oh, yeah, it's all true.
Really? Really?
And in these reports, it says that George took photographs and video of Oswald and Ruby together. And I asked her, I said, do you still have that photo? And she said, yeah, I've got it somewhere. I'll have to dig it out. And I said, well, could I come over and help you look? She said, I'm not feeling great right now, but as soon as I'm feeling better, yes, give me a call in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And before I got a chance to meet up with her, she passed away.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been talking with the family. I've been talking to her granddaughter, and we're on the search and stuff that I'm not even going to talk about. It's getting very interesting.
So you really dig very deep. Is it just that others kind of give up and don't look any deeper, and you just keep going? Is that how you're coming up with some of these answers, these theories?
No. No, it's not that at all. And the Key West connection was written about first by Mark Howell and Tim Gratz. They wrote about it in Solaris Hill. They touched on these connections, and so full credit goes to them.
Okay.
And then other researchers have looked into Gilberto Lopez, who is a lot of people say he was the second gunman. I haven't gone that far. I believe he was involved. But what happened is when I was looking into all these connections and I saw Gilberto Lopez and I saw some of the names attached, I said, whoa, that's a direct connection to the Tampa Mafia.
I was going to say, you go into great detail and work very hard to draw the connections with crime and organized crime and those types of things, and the Florida Keys, things you just kind of hear about, but people don't really talk about. You did take a lot of time researching a lot of connections that back up these theories.
Yeah, and I uncovered documents nobody's ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, things that really do paint this picture of, yes, this is who is involved. Yes, this is a conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to interview not just the brother-in-law of Gilberto Lopez. And Gilberto Lopez is interesting. So before I ever came along, investigators were saying he was the second gunman. He was suspicious because he crossed the border from Texas into Mexico the night of the assassination. Mexican authorities said this guy's involved. By the time our different agencies got involved, he had already hopped a flight to Cuba. His dad was from Cuba, his mom was from Key West. He had hopped a flight back and he disappeared off the radar. So the last report of him was 1964. And this is a guy who they're saying he's just like Lee Harvey Oswald. He's involved in the assassination. And I looked and I said, well, he might still be alive. I'm going to go find him. And my friend Cheryl Sanchez helped me. She was going to help me figure out where to find him in Cuba. And she said, whoa, he returned to the United States in 1995. Now, he had died in 2021, but she helped me track down his daughter. And I reached out to his daughter, and when you call somebody up and, I actually emailed her, but when you say, hey, your father's a suspect in the assassination of John F. Kennedy, would you talk with me? You don't expect people to be up for that, but she did. She did. We formed a friendship and we talked many times over the course of a month, and she filled in 60 years of missing history. And between her and Cookie Machine, who was the brother-in-law, we came up with what's probably some of the best new evidence to come out since the House did their investigation in the 1970s.
David Sloan is with us. He is author, historian, cold case investigator, paranormal investigator. The list goes on and on. We're talking about How Key West Killed JFK, his latest book. And I didn't look recently. How many books have you authored so far, David?
I think we're around 30, and there's probably there's 15 that people that sell well and consistently.
Yeah.
But I've been in Key West for 30 years, so it's not all that impressive. I'm a bit of a slacker.
Well, and I guess the hits keep coming. It is phenomenally amazing, and I look forward to more extended and long conversations with you. I think that you have probably contributed to some people's extended drinking issues because just sitting and listening to you and your stories, I mean, over a beer would probably turn into multiple beers because it's fascinating. All that you have found out and all that you have to tell. And, I've been so entranced and engaged with what you have to say about JFK. Just a moment ago, I just noticed Robert the Doll over your shoulder there, and that's a little unnerving. That's a whole other story there, but there he is looking on. And Robert, I fully respect you, and I took no pictures during this scenario. So,
yeah, and it's interesting because with Robert the Doll, it's kind of the same thing as JFK. Nobody knew much about Robert the Doll. And I did the digging and I was able to find out where he was made. I was able to uncover a lot of the Otto family history and really paint the true picture of him and the real history by kind of reverse engineering the legends and matching them up with history.
Well, and that's why I asked earlier, do you just keep digging where others did not and others gave up? And you've expressed a couple of times just in this brief conversation how you just kind of kept going beyond a point where others, had dropped it. And I think that's been part of your success and part of the allure of your works. Phantompress.com is one place to go to learn more about David Sloan, who is part of our community here for the past 30 years, but also your works, obviously Amazon, as well as, the Key West Airport and other bookstores, etc. Where do you recommend people find out more and enjoy the fruits of your labor?
If people go to phantompress.com, all of that goes directly to me. So that's so they can interact with me. If they want to order a book, I get the order. I personalize it. I autograph it, send it out. But I do the artisan markets too. Like I'm at Truman Waterfront Market today.
Yes.
I volunteer at the Alex Vega Key West Firehouse Museum.
Yes.
I'm a volunteer director there. So every Friday, just about, I'm in there from 10 o'clock till 1:30. So people can come by and see the museum free all month.
And we didn't get too much into the paranormal and some of the others, but also your tours as well
Yeah. Yep. If you want ghost tours, I'm not the trolley. Everybody thinks the trolley one goes touring down the trolley, and the trolley's awesome. They're just very different than what we do.
Yes, sir.
And we do tours inside 40's Martello with Robert the Doll. It's called Robert the Doll After Dark. And we do America's Most Haunted Firehouse. And people get the haunted history, and we teach them how to investigate. So we're more the Velvet Rope ghost tour in town.
And not to be excluding Key Lime Pie, the godfather of Key Lime Pie as well.
Yeah. And it's funny. I got into that because there's they always said that the person who invented key lime pie was Aunt Sally, but nobody knew who she was.
Okay.
When I heard that, I used to be a baker. I mean, from the time I was 16.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I'm like, oh, I'm going to find out who Aunt Sally is.
Uh-huh.
And that sent me on my key lime pie journey. And oh my God, it's probably one of the most fascinating desserts in the world. And I'm not joking about that. Every ingredient has this crazy story, and the roots in the Florida Keys. It's really something special. Yeah. And I did find out who Aunt Sally was.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So
I guess people have to read more about that to find out.
Well, I'll just have to come back again, and I'll tell you. I don't tell anybody, hey, you've got to read my book to find out. I'm happy to share because I love the Florida Keys, and I want people to know these stories. If they buy my books, great, but that's not what I'm here for.
There are so many stories tied to the Florida Keys, and you have told many of them, and I'm sure will continue to as well. I'll just make a note that Good Morning Keys is now being rebroadcast on our new local TV channel. It's TV channel 27 over the air, also available as Keys Living TV on Roku streaming and on at the App Store as well. So we want to be telling stories about the Keys. That's what Keys Living TV is all about. So I expect to have you, if you'll indulge us, as a regular guest talking about the Florida Keys and all the stories. But the latest one being How Key West Killed JFK, the island that changed the course of history. Let me tell you, it made a formerly long plane ride very short and very quick as I continue to turn those pages. So thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you.
Yes. Well, thank you for all your diligence in telling these stories, and many more to come. David, thanks so much for being here. We'll talk soon.
Happy hauntings.
Oh, indeed.
Love and limes.
That is David Sloan with us. Go to phantompress.com to learn more. Pretty exceptional, all the stories about the Florida Keys. Author, researcher, expert on the Florida Keys' darkest mysteries and sweetest traditions. I don't want to say Swedish, but Swedish traditions. Very good, David. Take care. It is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the Talk of the Keys. We will return with more of Good Morning Keys in just a moment.
The Greenhouse. Have you been there yet? We even spell it with 3 E's to help you smile when you say it. That's our goal. We carry the largest selection of hemp-derived THC and CBD products in Monroe County. If you've been taking medication for anxiety, depression, inflammation, lack of sleep, or muscle and joint pain, and it's just not working, or you don't like the side effects, we can help. If you're looking to chill, relax, escape, focus, or even break out into euphoric fits of laughter, we can help there too. No medical card is needed. You just have to be 21 or over. Our 3 locations are open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. In Key West, we're at 431 Front Street, just in front of Mallory Square. In Marathon, you can find us at mile marker 52 at 10875 Overseas Highway. In Key Largo, we're at 99304 Overseas Highway in the middle of the road. Swing on by, share your goals with us, and we'll recommend a product to help you reach them. And we back our recommendations with a 100% money-back guarantee. The Greenhouse. Stop on by and find out what the buzz is all about today.
Visit one of the 12 locations of the Greenhouse, including 9 in the Keys and featuring their newest store at 3128 North Roosevelt, Key West.
Key West authentic Irish pub, dining, and rooftop lounge is Celtic Conch Public House, 528 Front Street. The Celtic Conch always features delicious Irish cuisine and tasty pub grub with more than 40 Irish whiskeys, specialty cocktails, and local drafts. Ask about their daily food specials, including kids 12 and under eat free on Wednesdays when ordering from the kids menu with adult purchase of at least $25. Limit 2 children per adult, dine in only. Plus, the best in live entertainment. Monday, Milo plays from 5 to 8, then it's Dean Dunlevy from 8 to 11. Tuesday, it's trivia from 6 to 9, and Corey Hill is live from 6:30 to 9:30. Wednesday features Just George from 8 to 11. Thursday, Milo is back from 4 to 7, and Dave Mittenberg takes over from 8 to 11. Friday, Dean Dunlevy returns from 5 to 8, and then Milo entertains from 8 to 11. Saturday, come back for Dave Mittenberg from 5 to 8, then Just George from 8 to 11. Celtic Conch Public House, 528 Front Street, Key West. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Sláinte.
If it's happening in the Keys, you will hear about it here. This is Good Morning Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
Talk 96.9, 102.5, the Talk of the Keys, and Good Morning Keys now also rebroadcast on Keys Living TV, channel 27 at 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. daily, as well as available on Roku streaming. It's on channel 27 over the air, and then your App Store has free downloads. We're going to say good morning now to Chris Massicotte. Chris is running for City Commission, City of Key West, District 5. Good morning to you, Chris.
Good morning, Michael. Thanks for having me on again. Always love being on your show.
Oh, there we go. Now I can hear you. I have to turn myself up here. There you are. Hi, how are you?
Well, all I said was good morning.
Yes. Okay. I didn't miss too much yet,
Nope.
but there's a lot to talk about. I don't want to miss anything. We've got a city commission meeting coming up at 9 o'clock and then the afternoon session as well, the City of Key West. As always, you will be in attendance and very engaged. Let's talk about some of the highlights, though, that you're watching as a potential city commissioner. And things that and topics that will be discussed that you feel people should be aware of and engaged with.
Yeah, there are 2 items coming up on this agenda in the morning session. It's going to be later on in the morning. So if you can come down to 1300 White Street City Hall to see what's happening, because we're making 2 very big long-term decisions. The first one is that, in 2024, we had a referendum to issue or to allow the city to issue some general obligation bonds. It's one of the first times that the city of Key West has ever considered issuing debt. We currently don't have any long-term debt, but we need, they're going to issue $32 million worth of bonds for a new fire station. And obviously our firefighters deserve modern facilities and everything, but that just to service that debt for 30 years is $2 million a year. That's $60 million over 30 years, and that's going to translate to about $100 to $150 for people who are homesteaded a year, or $350 or so for people that are, for commercial properties. And then our workforce, we're always talking about our workforce needing, housing and affordable housing. And landlords just will continue to pass these these tax increases onto their tenants, creating even, higher rents and higher rent pressure. So I just want to make sure that we have exhausted all possibilities. Did we look for grant funding? Did we look for, any FEMA emergency funding? Was there any kind of, work done in the past? And there has been some in the past done on this, but is there a way for us to modernize Fire Station 3, which is at Kennedy Drive? Is there a way to do that for less than $32 million and saddling us with a tax increase of exactly $2 million a year for the next 30 years? And that is a huge decision that I don't think should be taken lightly. And it only takes 1 vote of the City Commission, which will happen today. The other item is an even more concerning issue because it is also very long term, and that's that Monroe County, who currently owns and operates the Higgs Beach Park, wants to transfer ownership of that to the city, and that comes with a lot of what ifs and things like that, because I spend a lot of time there, and while I'm not the biggest fan of the dog park, my dog is, and he walks me there, and I walk there almost every day of the week. I was just there 30 minutes ago. And it's a great community asset, but it has real infrastructure challenges and restrictions on what can be done with the property. So the cost analysis that the city requested from the county showed over 5 years, the net benefit would be about $200,000. But that's considering if nothing goes wrong, and that's about a 4% margin if nothing goes wrong. And if we continue to get the funding from the TDC, which we all know is never guaranteed. So, over 5 years, it doesn't leave us a whole lot of wiggle room, and we're going to have this property for longer than 5 years. And I just want to make sure that before we take ownership of that, that we know what we're going to do with it, that we have a strategic plan long term to figure out what to do with it, because the city has a history of taking on projects and not following through. For example, the diesel plant that Keys Energy gave the city a decade ago, more than a decade ago, and we have yet to do anything. While that continues to just, deteriorate, cost to fix it go up, and nobody will want to touch it. So now we have this empty thing in the middle of Bahama Village. So my campaign is really centered around, fixing things up that we have, making sure that we have long-term sustainability and affordability. So that's what I'm watching today at the City Commission meeting.
Well, again, speaking with Chris Massicotte, he's running for City Commission District 5, City of Key West. You're a former auditor, and you've been very focused on fiscal responsibility. A former accountant as well. Once an accountant, always accountant, though, probably. So you continue to watch the numbers and try to encourage fiscal responsibility. I know you were pretty instrumental in urging, what was it, the postponement of, there was going to be a special election that was going to cost a significant amount of money. You had been pretty much spearheading the effort to really examine that.
Yes, to move the special election to extend the mayor's term from 2 years to 4 years. And regardless of how you feel about that, we shouldn't have to pay an extra 75 grand to have a special election in August. It was supposed to be August of last year to do that. And we can continue to find ways to save little bits of money. I can tell you as a city commissioner, Michael, I am not going to be interested in giant payouts as we, dismiss people who are working for the city. I am not in favor of the city paying out any more money. So I just want to be clear on that I'm going to want to save the city money by not just summarily firing anybody who comes, who we just don't seem to want to work with. That is not how I roll. The city manager's contract was not extended for 4 years, and that gives the new commission, if there is one, a time to decide what they want to do about their leadership going forward without having to pay a large sum to just, let either any of the city charter employees go.
Okay, Chris Massicotte, Chris for KeyWest.com, running for District 5 Commissioner. And it's not just about fiscal responsibility. Chris, to your credit, you've also been very involved in other issues, including serving as Keys Last Stand president, I believe, also board member of Fair Insurance Rates for Monroe, which does have ties to fiscal responsibility. Key West AIDS Memorial. So you've continued to be very involved and kind of a watchdog over public issue and policy.
Yep, that's a great way to describe it. Thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. And we are also watching the state legislature too, House Bill 1001, Anti-Diversity in Local Government, which would potentially ban cities and counties, including tourist development councils, from funding, promoting, or taking any official action to support programs or events related to diversity based on race, sex, ethnicity, gender identity, or sexual orientation, which could put in peril a number of different events that the city and TDC funds specifically get involved with here in Key West. So state legislature kind of toying with local rule So we'll see which direction that goes here as of potentially today.
Yeah, and that's a little bit earlier today. They'll be discussing that. The one last thing I want to say is that on Monday night at 5 p.m. at Salute on the Beach is Hometown's call for candidates. Anybody who's even thinking about running or whatever, and it's a great way to kind of kick off the campaign season. So that is Monday evening at 5 o'clock at Salute on the Beach.
And Salute is one of those contributors towards keeping Higgs Beach operational, but even that's never assured either.
Well, I mean, Salute is a wonderful place.
Oh, they are.
A wonderful business, but you're right. That has not come close to covering the costs of maintaining that wonderful beach.
Well, go attend the call for candidates with Keys Hometown on Monday. Chris, you will be there front and center, I am certain. But yes, go and buy some food and buy a drink and help support Higgs Beach as it stands right now. We'll see what the commission votes here in just a few, within the next few hours anyway. So we encourage all to get informed and engaged. Also get informed and engaged with Chris's campaign, chris4keywest.com, committed to running. And again, it's a selfless act to run for political office these days. And we thank you for your commitment there, Chris.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that.
Well, we got to let you get down to City Hall. Anything else we should mention, though?
We're good. I'm headed out right now.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Bye-bye.
Bye now. Chris Massicotte running for District 5 seat on the City Commission this fall. And as he said, Hometown Key West having their call to candidates Monday, Salute, Higgs Beach, 5 o'clock, open to all. All are encouraged to get informed and engaged. And we'll be there as well, being informed and engaged as well with the rest of us. It's Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. Again, Keys Living TV featuring Good Morning Keys, rebroadcast for television on digital channel 27, Roku streaming, and your phone apps, which you can get your free download at your app store and enjoy local programming such as Keys Living TV, as well as some eclectic and very entertaining programming as well that you've not seen in quite some time. Give it a try. It's Keys Living TV. This is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. As for us, we'll be checking with Glenn Beck here shortly. Lots and lots of breaking news happening all the time. We're bringing that to you constantly here at Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. We also have state, local, national news updated at least every half hour. Weather around the clock as well. Following Glenn Beck at noon, it is Sean Hannity at 3, but even before that, Clay and Buck at noon. Make that 3 o'clock, Sean Hannity. 5 o'clock, Drew Steele and Florida's Voice, and he'll be following all the continuing developments, some of which we mentioned here this morning from Tallahassee, and that happens at 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock, it is the great one, Mark Levin. 9 o'clock, Jesse Kelly, Coast to Coast AM overnight, as well as AUC with Dr. B coming up in just a matter of a few days. That is Saturday at 9 a.m. And given all that, it's always a good time to take a bakery break. Old Town Bakery in Old Town Key West, where the bakery was the heart of the neighborhood, and it still is at the corner of Eaton and Grinnell, their historic location there, where they have pastry, brownies, cookies, artisan breads, all baked fresh starting at 1 a.m. each and every morning. Plus quiche of 2 varieties is spinach and feta and mushroom variety, or ham and cheese. You can get a delectable slice or 2 or order a whole pie. Just please give them a day's notice to do so. OldTownBakeryKeyWest.com online. Get them to cater your next event with beautiful sandwiches for breakfast or lunch, coffee, and all the delectable treats. It's OldTownBakeryKeyWest.com online and the corner of Eaton and Grinnell. This is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. Thanks for listening.
Step back in time. Step back into Old Town. Step into Old Town Bakery with fresh baked treats like pastries, cookies, brownies, and fresh breads made every morning. Enjoy hot and cold delicious ground coffee always brewing and handcrafted breakfast and lunch sandwiches made to order on oven fresh breads. And now Old Town Bakery features spinach mushroom feta quiche and ham and cheese quiche, delectable for breakfast or lunch by the slice. Get a whole quiche pie by ordering in store with 24 hours advance notice and enjoy enjoy new cream-filled croissants with chocolate or vanilla filling and award-winning fresh baked pies, including their key lime pie, voted the best in the Keys. Pick up their unique Old Town Bakery t-shirts for a friend or yourself and give the gift of deliciousness with a gift card available for purchase in-store. And their catering menu is available to make that next event memorable. Old Town Bakery on the corner of Eaton and Grinnell. Stop in or order online. Old Town Bakery, KeyWest.com.
Hey Key West, Danny Hughes here from Two Friends. Really from Two Friends. So Maura and I were sitting at breakfast in the bar listening to live music at 8:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. She's about to enjoy some huevos rancheros and me shrimp and grits with fried oysters. Heart healthy. And Maura says, Dorothy, we're not in Kansas anymore. It was perfect because we didn't move here because Key West is like a lot of other places. We moved here because it isn't like any other place on earth. So meet your friends or make your friends at Two Friends. 512 Front Street in Old Town Key West or twofriends.com.